Bitcoin and altcoins, crypto market about to get set on fire. We have Friday's Whitehouse Crypto Summit with some of the major players of the industry and major voices like Michael Saylor, Sergey Nazarov from Chainlink, Charles Hoskinson from Cardano, and many other people involved. What is this going to mean for the crypto market? But what is this looming $7 trillion problem? How can we make sure that the bulls will absolutely take over here? We've got some, I'm talking amazing charts that we're going to be diving into today. So everybody get active, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, get active on that poll. If you're watching on YouTube, get active on that poll. Let me know what you think. And are you bullish into Sunday's weekly close? Are you bearish from here, thinking we have a little bit more to wash out to the downside? Well, let's go ahead and dive on into this. I want to see everybody getting active in the live chat right now. If you're watching on X, make sure you're getting active in there too. I can see your posts. If you're here on YouTube, make sure you're hitting that subscribe button below the video. Make sure you click that little arrow next to subscribe and you turn on the notifications and you become a member here on the BitLab YouTube. It's about $1.25 a week and you help keep us going. So let's get into this. We got to talk about what's going on. Let's go. The moment's here, everybody. Everything we've been waiting on. It feels like we've been saying that, but when you zoom out, you realize it hasn't been that much time. We've been in a very sort of frustrating holding pattern because there's so much expectation around what was going to happen the day Trump was in office. In reality, they're setting up the framework for the future. It takes a little bit of time. And if everybody's expecting it, that means it's not going to happen in the way you expect it in that moment. But we got a great show lined up for today. And my question to everybody that is here is, how are you feeling about the market? How are you really feeling about the market? Do you feel like something like this is something that's going to happen in the market? This is what I'm obviously hoping for. Are you hoping for something like this? We saw the price action, falling wedge, coming down, finding support here. Yes, we had a wick to the downside, came right back up inside this. The price action rejected right at the top of this. We came down, had another little bit of wick. Price is sitting right up in this zone, leading into what is expected to be very bullish for the price action in the very near future. And it's not just going to be for Bitcoin, but very likely, and I'm not guaranteeing, but very likely a bullish for the altcoin market as well. But it all kind of depends on what is laid out on Friday with this Whitehouse Crypto Summit. Is Bitcoin going to be a reserve and altcoins are going to be an investment? Those have different implications. What does it mean? What does it telegraph? And to what extent is there going to be buying pressure in these markets, and which markets out there? You know, of course, XRP, Solana, ADA, but to what extent? Are they going to add other things like Algorand, HBAR, Chainlink? You know, Sergey Nazarov is going to be there. He's been in DC the last 2 weeks. What's happening? Because I know I've been stacking. I know you've been stacking. Most of you have been sitting on your hands. Some of you have been trading all this volatility. And what we got to talk about it today, because as bullish as we are, there's a little bit of a questionability about what's happening in this market because so many people are scared right now because the market's dropping. I thought if Trump was in, the market wasn't going to drop. Well, let's go ahead and go through some of the things we want to talk about today because we got a lot of stuff. And right now, we got a green day to be alive. How many of you bought the dip? Throw a 1 in chat if you bought the dip. How many of you just sat on your hands? Because you've already been allocated. You might be frustrated, but you're not doing anything to mess this up. Throw a 2 in chat. And if you have been selling because you're scared, which, hey, it's not right or wrong. Everybody has a different risk tolerance and appetite and also time horizon. Maybe you need the money today for something because you're over allocated. Throw a 3 in chat. There's no right or wrong answer. It just depends on what you're looking for out of this market. But we're seeing green in the market. Ondo, you can't see down here. Can I move it? Can I move it? Oh, I can. I'm dragging it up. Ondo's up 20%, but yesterday it was down 20%. So essentially just recovering the move. Algo's up 11%. Jito is up 26%. Arbitrum up 15%. Lido up 15%. Injective up 12%. Chainlink up 18%. Are we about to see a lot more of this on a more consistent basis? I know I'd be looking for that. Daniel Renteria says, I hope it tanks again. That's somebody that's looking for better entries. Anybody that doesn't understand that statement, you don't understand how this market works. And go ahead, we're going to go ahead and get into this, because when we look at this on the weekly, we still have some red out there. Yeah, we got Cardano pumped, of course, Bitcoin Cash, Pulse, H-bar, but nearly everything else is red, with a couple little very small bullish charts in here as well. XRP also up 8%. Solana only up 2%. They've been having some unlocks and things transferred over from Alameda over to exchanges and so on and so forth. But I still think Solana is going to perform very well in this market. But then we look at the monthly, and again, it's just kind of a mixed bag throughout this. When you look at these timelines, I think we're coming into the day over day, the majority of the time, starting to see a lot more green in these charts. And I'm going to go ahead and break down a little bit of why in here, because when we're looking at this and we realize, look, is this a prophecy in the charts? Is this telling us, it's got that move to the downside? Is this fulfilled, that CME futures gap? This moving back up in here with so much forward-looking bullishness on the market. Are we kind of looking to do this? I'm curious what you guys think, but let's go ahead and go through some of the things in here. We got Texas. Despite all the federal discussion and the world government discussion, state level strategic Bitcoin reserves are nothing to balk at. Texas is one of the largest economies in the world. Texas is one of the largest economies in the world, larger than most countries. And as speculated from Marty Party, yesterday, Texas Strategic Bitcoin Reserve has been placed on a notice of intent for today. Are they going to have some pretty big news today? That would be phenomenal, even if it's only mildly bullish, that it's not getting basically terminated or not passing the House or the floor or whatever, like we've seen with 3 or 4 of the other state levels so far. They've been very bullish and positive speaking about things. So this would be, especially going into Friday, if we start building incredible momentum, this could only get better and better for the market. And then we go on. We see Chainlink, Sergey Nazarov. Let's actually see what an actual state representative here, Representative Bryant Steele from Wisconsin. Let's see what he's got to say about blockchain technology, which is the rails for crypto, and I do believe is going to be the rails for the future. So let's see what he's got to say.
I've completely bought in that this core blockchain technology is essential as we move to Web3.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think the fact that the vast majority of stablecoins are backed by the US dollar and the percentage of treasuries that leads to being in stablecoins is already a very big deal. I think what might happen continually is that as larger and larger percentages of an asset class go on chain, then the government system will pay more attention to how that asset class works on chain. So I feel that stablecoins became very important once they reached a certain amount of US treasuries being in their control. Right, and so it became clear that the stablecoin format, the stablecoin format for the U.S. dollar, is a significant net contributor and net purchaser and net holder of treasuries. Right, I feel that stablecoins are great, and they'll make the U.S. dollar a widely used form of currency in this world as it is in the traditional world. But I think we're just going to see this recurring pattern of, oh, okay, this percentage of the real estate market is on chain. We have to worry about how to make that work from a regulated point of view.
The fact that there's bearishness in any regard right now in the market, rather than, hey, there's opportunities to stack at these prices before these integrations take place in a real meaningful way, it shows where we're at in the cycle. It shows where we're at in this. I'm not talking about the cycle in this week, this month, this year, or this 4-year cycle. I'm talking about where we're at in the early stages of integration, implementation, and the growth of this sector as the world moves to blockchain technology. And Chainlink is better positioned than any crypto out there. And the fact that it hasn't been listed yet, I actually think has presented an incredible opportunity for people that feel like the price ran away. It came back to 13 bucks. Guys, I am so bullish on this. And then we continue on with the stories, and we got what? Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick says President Trump will unveil a Bitcoin reserve strategy at the White House summit, the crypto summit, on this Friday. Probably a little bit more clarity about what they're going to be doing. Maybe the size, maybe what the timeline is, maybe how this is potentially separate from the crypto stockpile? Because I think of Bitcoin and crypto as two different things. Is Bitcoin a crypto asset? Yes. Digital storage, digital store value? Sure. Strongest computer network in the history of the world, most secure computer network in the history of the world? Yes. But then you look at Ethereum, you look at smart contract layer 1 platforms, layer 2 platforms, excuse me, DEXs like Aerodrome, that processing a lot of the liquidity, basically the large majority, if not all, on Base. Institutions on, let's just go through this because I got it all broken down here in just a moment. So we have to think about this. If we're so bullish and everybody's worried, I talked a little bit about this yesterday, but I have to hammer this home. People are so worried that the market is correcting. I thought it was supposed to go up. This is part of Trump's plan. Understand this. This is a plan. Why Donald Trump wants the market to crash. There is $7 trillion in debt that we need to pay. The U.S. needs to pay or refinance, which is going to be the thing. They're not going to pay this in the next 6 months. The refinancing is what's going to happen. If we don't do that, of course, they have to refinance. We also have that, I'm not sure if the $1 trillion bank term lending program from COVID is part of this, $7 trillion or not, but there's trillions of dollars that need to be refinanced here in the matter of a couple months. And they also want rate cuts. So one, getting the tariffs on a more equitable, basically layout with the world stage, bringing institutions and infrastructure and industry back to the U.S., building here, that's going to strengthen our economy in the long term. It's causing some pressure on the market in the short term, creating more incentive for rate cuts in the near-ish term. All of the things happening right now with the market pulling back is actually the most bullish setup that we could hope for. This is what we want to hope for right now. If we're looking at this with the vision, understanding of what the framework is for why things are playing out the way they are. And if we understand that, then we can take advantage of the market conditions rather than having the market conditions take advantage of us. $7 trillion in debt needs to be refinanced, which right now is essentially a bit untenable at the current interest rate. So we need to do everything we can to bring the economic framework into a position that the Fed has a good feeling about cutting rates, getting things in a better position for this funding. So part of that is a 10-year yield as well, getting people to buy bonds. Do you know what a bond is? A bond is essentially a promissory note that you're buying that is basically, it's a debt instrument that you're buying, you're funding the debt for the government. That's essentially what a bond is. So understanding that, realizing that if the market's doing really well, everybody's investing over here. Let's bring the market down. Let's have some uncertainty in the market so that people put something in a 2-year, 5-year, 10-year, 30-year bond that you're getting guaranteed interest on. That's what people invest in times of uncertainty. So everything happening right now is 5D chess from Trump. Whether you like him or not, it feels like I thought Trump was going to bring the prices of eggs down. Well, the price of eggs are up because the Biden administration ordered the killing of hundreds of millions of chickens. Now, that is starting to carry forward where the egg prices are going up. But then you look at the other things in the economy and realize market going down, $7 trillion of debt needs to be refinanced. Is there any correlation? Yeah, there's correlation. Let's go ahead and have a bit of a trade war, which also gives us the ability to bring, having the tariffs. Now you have people coming to the negotiation table offering better deals. In the long term, they're going to be better, bringing more jobs and infrastructure back to the U.S. industry and hammering down the market in the short term to make it more feasible to lower have rate cuts and then come into quantitative easing here in the very near future. So this is bullish. And I outlined it in my post right here. And I brought up this chart yesterday showing the last trade war we did through tariffs on Trump. This is following this perfectly. And I do think we're coming into the end of that. This is May 19, right? This is not March. We're in March now. So this is looking like if we were to follow this in any sort of way, this is front running it a little bit. Maybe we're coming into that zone here this month to where we're going to start to get that resolution back to the upside. This is the S&P 500 price action in relationship to those tariffs. So if we understand that, then this is what I outlined. Stock market, Bitcoin, crypto, investing, trade war. It's so scary. It's scary if you don't know what the hell is going on. So I'm asking you, consider this. If Trump is doing, if what Trump is doing is a tactful maneuver that drops the market in the short term, considering the $7 trillion that needs to be paid, they're not going to be paying that. They're going to need to refinance that in the next 6 months. Then the tariff/trade war may be setting up the best buying opportunity for investors, for crypto allocators, for people that are understanding what is happening in the market. It's dropping. I should get out. Well, maybe this is a setup for buying. Why would we be bearish right now? I think this presents a once in a decade for markets, but once in a lifetime for crypto buying opportunity. Considering crypto and altcoins, especially with the Whitehouse thing coming up, we have the best forward-looking outlet. Since Bitcoin's genesis. And let me say this again. Considering Bitcoin and altcoins, we have the best forward-looking outlook since Bitcoin's genesis 16 years ago. Governments are working to integrate, implement, support, and empower crypto markets, stacking in the reserves and stockpiles, getting the framework there, getting the pressures from the SEC to be more empowering, getting clear regulation, bringing people back, bringing investment back, opening channels of certainty within this space. And don't forget, we had the fair value accounting FASB rule changed in December, allowing for corporations to reasonably stack Bitcoin on their corporate treasuries. We had the SAB 121 rescinded a few weeks back, paving the way for banks to get more meaningfully involved in digital asset services. And 4%, only 4% of the world has Bitcoin exposure from a recent study. We're going to look back on this time and wonder why we weren't more thankful for this gift of time right now and the gift of the dip to stack, because we're looking at the data, not being scared at the price. My opinion, I'm curious what y'all's opinion is on this, because this is what I'm seeing. We're seeing this play out like we've seen in previous trade wars. Red is us right now. White is what we've seen in the last trade war in 2019. And we're seeing this play out to a T. And we have the FOMC meeting come up. We have the White House summit coming up on Friday. And people are worried right now. Guys, I hope none of you out here are worried. Because what we're seeing, in addition to all that, we're seeing the dollar fall, losing support. The dollar index, DXY index, the strength of the dollar, when this falls, there's a very strong correlation, an inverse correlation, that when this is going up, the dollar's getting stronger, people are exiting investment positions, and you're seeing downward pressure on investment positions, especially in risk assets. When the dollar is falling, you see upward pressure, buying pressure, because people are getting out of the dollar and going back into risk. So we are in the perfect storm for bullishness, and there's no reason to be frustrated with this market right now unless you're not watching BitLab Academy. So I hope every single one of you hits that like button, you hit the subscribe button, ding the bell, turn on your notifications, and you're here, if not on a daily basis, at least once a week, because we've been breaking down the charts and the signals and having everybody so on point. I'm just thankful that we are all here together. Now, continuing on, Bitcoin has historically rebounded when the trader loss margin, how many people are in a loss? That's what this means. It reaches minus 12%. Right now, it's sitting at minus 15%. This was yesterday. So we have eclipsed that. You see this right here, deeper than this, deeper than this, deeper than this, deeper than this. All of these marked great buying opportunities right here. Boom. Even if that was just a short-term trade, that was about 18% to the upside. Boom. Right here. Another 18%, 20% to the upside. Boom. Here. Started getting that bottom position. Look, kind of double bottomed here, and then launch. Now we got that again. Does this mean we're going up today? No. Understand the data. When we understand the data, this is setting up regionally that we're very likely in a position that we're setting up for a reversal for upside price action. Make sure you're following Ollie_charts. Always great charts, always great content on his channel. Really, really great content there. And I'm happy to be able to share it with you all. Now, continuing on, what else we got? Altcoins. Everybody's wondering about the altcoins. Well, let's talk about the altcoins. Matthew Hyland, our friend, our compatriot here on the channel. We have him on here every Monday, him and Kevin Svensson. What do you say? Most alts have held the early February lows. Okay, the recent lows in the drawdown, altcoins have not really bled beyond that. They've kind of reached their low and kind of been going sideways from there. Despite Bitcoin and Ethereum, stocks also breaking lower over the past few weeks. Sellers are exhausted. Altcoins, it feels like a bear market in altcoins, right? I know. I look at my alt portfolio, but in a full bear market, they would have continued lower, but they didn't. So that should be a clue. And then I am just re-highlighting, I think 2 days ago, 2 days ago on the 3rd, I outlined right here, altcoin market bottom likely being formed. Why is this? Price action. And this did wick beyond this, but has come back well within this, and I think above now. But this very key level, all the way back here, the end of 2024. And what do we see? Rejection. What do we see? Bounce, bounce. Actually, I think this is early 2024. Yeah. Rejection, bounce, bounce, chop right in the zone. Rejection, rejection. The bulls just ate this back up. We've tested back into this. I do think that the altcoins, I'm not going to say it's going to be full-blown alt season in the next 2 weeks, but I think we're getting into the seller exhaustion in altcoins. And if you're not already finding positions, then you need to be looking very carefully at what you're doing, because I do think that is forming. And then we see from our boy Caleb Franzen, altcoins total 3 minus USDT, minus USDC. So you're looking at just the market cap of coins, not stable coins, has a bullish RSI divergence on the 12-hour candles. But we need to see follow through. So we see the RSI came down. The strength, the RSI is the relative strength index. How strong is the buying or selling pressure, the appetite in the market? Well, the market dropped, boom, RSI fell quite far. Market dropped further, so you have a lower low, but now the RSI, once it pushed up, just like this pushed up, and then the price fell again, the strength is higher here, whereas the price is lower here. What do we get out of that? Nice move up and a fall back down. But the fall back down, now we're starting with a higher low. We're starting to get the signs and signals and the smoke in the trees saying, hey guys, the winds are shifting. Are you prepared? Because you need to stop looking at what my price is up or down. Who gives a shit what your price is doing? What is the price doing relative to the data that is being present? What is price doing relative to the context of the other assets in the class? This is what we're looking at. This is why we've been able to have such regularity on the calls we've been making on this channel with you and the community. And then we look at the dominance. And by the way, I'm going to be having Black Widow on the channel here in the near future. She has great charts all the time, consistent, non-biased, just no fluff. Here's what we're seeing. And she's looking here at the dominance, and it says dominance is at range highs and Bitcoin and ETH at range lows. This is a Bitcoin ETH comparison. Is the exact formula for the alt season to potentially get underway. If dominance finally tops here, then Q2 should be fun. And we're seeing this. We're seeing large impulse up, a little sideways, a little bit weaker impulse up, a lot more sideways, a little bit weaker impulse up. We got the first drop. We came back up, and no real momentum to carry that through. The bullish strength on dominance being in the lead, aka Bitcoin taking the majority of the liquidity, is waning here. And if this does reject here, even if we travel sideways here before breaking down, this is starting to suggest altcoins are either soon to be running in parity at the same speed, large in part as Bitcoin, or if this starts to drop, then this means your alts are going to be running you're going to have gains faster on altcoins than you do on Bitcoin. The setup is here, everybody. Why are we so frustrated? We got 455 people tuned in on YouTube. We got another 500 people tuned in over on X. Shout out to each and every one of you. I do want to shout out right here. Make sure if you're on YouTube, hit the subscribe button right down here below. Click this little down arrow, turn on all. I do members only private content sometimes in the morning that I put to public for about 5 minutes to 10 minutes. Not all the time, but this way everybody has access, and it's a little bit of a benefit for you if your notifications are turned on. Also, if you hit that subscribe button, once you do that, you will see a join button right there. Join us here on BitLab. We got some charts we're going to look at right now. We're going to look at some altcoin TA. We're going to look at some signals, some levels, and what's going on. But hit that join button. It's a great way to help keep us going over here on the back end. We got teams, we got rent, we got lights, we got cameras, we got action. It's a great way to keep, show great support for what we're doing, but also, you get access to that private content, whether or not, if you're a member, you get access to that private content anytime it's out. Now let's get into it, everybody. By the way, make sure you're hitting that like button. If you're watching on YouTube, by the way, let's come over here. I just want to shout this out real quick. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that retweet button right there. If you're watching on YouTube or X, hit that retweet, hit that like button. We do periodic random giveaways, and we draw from the people that are supporting the channel. If you're watching this and you make it big, there's a live chat area right here you can participate in. What's your thoughts? Boom. I'm boom, boom, boom. I'm just showing you. You can it's not showing me the previous chat here because I just opened it, but I can see your chat up here on my screen. I just wanted to call that out. Sometimes people don't know you can live chat on there. Now, coming back over to the charts, let's look at what's going on here because, guys, I'm thinking that we're gonna get something like this. So we're right there. We've been hovering right here, consolidating above 100, down below 100, above 100, down below 100. And this, I do think we're getting to that resolution of the washout, AKA the sellers, the people willing to sell is starting to get exhausted. I think we're going to start seeing this upside price action in the charts because, it's starting to shape up that way. Yes, we pushed up here to this previous range low. This one pushed up to this previous range low. Isn't it funny how this happens? When you look at the chart, looking at previous ranges, it provides the map for where price interaction will likely happen. Not guaranteed, but overwhelmingly likely. You can see based on previous range levels, especially when you have these strong, all this bounce, 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 where price go to? Boom, right to that level. Now, what do we got? Let's go to the daily. We got negative money flow. What am I talking about? This is money flow right here. This means money's coming into the market. This blue, when this comes down into the pink, this down below here, this means money's coming out of this asset. Well, it is still coming out, but we did see the RSI bounce. We see the stochastics bounce. That's on the daily. What is it looking like on the 4-hour? Getting a little bit more localized. Still negative money flow. So we're seeing positive impact while there's not new money coming in yet. What we're looking for is that crossover for money to come in to give us confidence that we're going to have continuation to the upside. So if price is pushing up and the money flow is flat or starting to come out, that gives you a good indication that that upward movement is probably going to be short-lived. As it stands right now, we do have negative money flow, but the momentum swung pretty large. But now look at this. This came back down. You can barely see it, but you see how this came back down? Very small move to the downside. I would expect there's going to be a little bit of pause in certainty about money flow just flipping positive between now and Friday. It could happen on like the 2-hour, maybe the 4-hour, but I think coming with great news and a clear vision about what's going to be playing out on Friday and beyond, I think that's post that is when we're going to start to see the money flow flipping positive, being that it's not just, hey, we're going to do this in 6 months. Okay, you're going to have a bit more of a sell-off, AKA another buying opportunity. But we're watching, see this, this is all the data, the RSI pink, the pink purple, this stochastic RSI, the orange, the money flow, the money flow is the blue and the purple. These white waves that are going up and down like this with the different colors. This is the momentum waves. When you got the red bars, it's showing there's a lot of selling pressure. When you got the green bars, there's a lot of buying pressure. You see this? So we're seeing the bearish momentum that has been there. In fact, here increased. Now it's decreasing again. So we're starting to set up the framework on the data basis that we could be setting up for a bullish reversal. So now coming back over here, okay, we're right in the middle of this. It's kind of, if we get another washout to the downside, on the bullish note, I'd like to see this hold this level right here. This basically 83.4. I'd like to see this area held. If this is able to, have a smaller pullback, that's even more bullish. We're watching for the break of this zone. What the follow through is after this, the confirmation, basically the move down, bulls come in, and then the launch, and also the data underlying that. Beyond that, altcoins are back in the picture. We see pump fund down 94% on trading volume, 94%. So the liquidity siphon that we've seen in meme coins is down significantly. We see altcoins coming back into the picture with the strategic crypto reserve acknowledgement that we had on Sunday with XRP, Solana, and Cardano listed in that, putting the world on notice. Hey, we're getting some government sponsored, hey, we approve this, also liquidity flow will likely start coming into those in a bit more major way as well, and broadly as well. If we get national, so wait, let's make it bigger. If we're getting international crypto arms race between China, the Indo-Pacific, Europe, Russia, African nations, so on and so forth, South America, if they start getting strategic Bitcoin reserves, cool. If they start getting Bitcoin reserves and crypto allocations, crypto reserves, we might start seeing a diversification of where liquidity is going to be going to this market beyond just Bitcoin's the dubbed one because of BlackRock and Fidelity and all the corporate and ETFs and the strategic Bitcoin reserve. That was a big fear of mine looking at how altcoins were going to flow in this market cycle moving forward because of that such focused attention because of that buying pressure that was going to come from governments. Now that we have the altcoins that are included in some capacity, which we still need to flesh out what it is. And we're going to find that out, starting to at least, I think, on Friday. But this may expand where the liquidity is flowing in the market, giving us something, again, similar to what we've seen, different, but similar to what we've seen in previous cycles, where altcoins have an absolutely incredible run. And if China does a crypto reserve, it's not going to be Bitcoin, Solana, Ethereum, and Cardano, and XRP. No, they're going to be looking at things that are native to their areas, like BNB, Tron, and other coins that are VeChain, so on and so forth. So there's a lot of things at play right now, and there's a lot of things to be excited about if we can be prepared appropriately. So coming back over to the charts, looking at a couple of these coins, let's look at it. ETH to Bitcoin, it just never stops going down. Is it dead this cycle? Who the knows? I think a lot of things are kind of basically uncertain until we get some more clarity about what's going on Friday and beyond. We also have with the new SEC. Now we have all these new ETFs that are coming out with things like Polkadot and HBAR, and I think I saw one for Aptos, Chainlink, XRP. So a lot of liquidity focused in those areas. Is Ethereum. We see World Liberty Finance and other major DeFi players and other institutions getting involved, buying and stacking into ETH. There's some like 7 siblings or something that's been buying the hell out of ETH as well. Is this just the bleed down market manipulation before an absolutely epic launch? We're going to have to wait and see. And then the question is going to be, if this does pump, does ETH only pump up here about 160% relative to Bitcoin? I'm not talking about US dollar price, because we have this multi-year trend line from 2017 all the way here to 2022 to right here. Is this going to ultimately be the top, or is there a scenario where this breaks out? We've got to take this step by step. But when we look at it on the ETH to US dollar basis, we did lose a trend line. We actually have a new lower low from this. There's a lot of questions I have about ETH, but being that it is a market cap that it is, and being that it, also has ETFs already, being that it has more legacy than basically every other altcoin, I do think this is still going to perform well. But I think on a safety level, you're going to get good returns out of Ethereum. But for me, that's why I diversify. That's why I have Chainlink and Ondo. And, going down the list, the different things out there that I can get better returns on. But there's also the question of how much liquidity and capital is going to be focused in those. We don't know, because we need to see how some of these things play out on a regulatory and government support level basis. Now, one thing I will say, one of the reasons why a lot of us got into crypto and how beautiful it was is outside the government. So one of the things is we don't need to rely specifically on banks and the government and traditional finance getting involved, and that's what's going to make it great. And I get that. There's many of you out there that are saying that. But at the same time, I'm also here to make money. So I have my morals and my ethics in terms of what I'm doing in regards to crypto and what it can be doing for your self-sovereignty and finance. But same time, I realize there's going to be certain sectors of the market that I can take positions on for periods of time to take those gains and then rotate those into my self-custody, into my self-sovereignty, into Bitcoin. So I'm playing two sides of this market in that regards, and thinking of that and where massive growth can happen that can change my life, and how I could potentially put some data on your computer screens that you can look into yourself also and figure out where these things can impact you. I want to look over and make sure I didn't miss any super chats or member joins or anything. Nothing today. We got the same crew. There's no new retail coming in the market. So it's basically the same people every day. And I love each and every one of you for being here. And I appreciate and respect you for you guys have to realize, as frustrated as you might be in the market right now, your frustration in the market is an overwhelming benefit that you have because you're in the market. 4% of the world has exposure to Bitcoin. What is about to come is an overwhelming flood that you have no idea what it's going to do for our futures if we navigate this correctly. That's why I'm asking you, if you are watching, if you're not subscribed, some of you think you're subscribed because you hear on a daily basis. Look down below the video. I'm asking every one of you right now, look below the video. Make sure it says subscribed. Make sure you hit the like button. Turn on your notifications. And if you want to, participate on a deeper level, we got morning jumpstart TA sessions that are about 6, 8, 12 minutes, where I'm going over the stuff throughout the week in the morning. Hit the join button. You should see after you're subscribed, and you'll get involved in that. Now, coming back over here, we got Cardano made a massive move, recovered almost all of it. Basically draw down, came right back up. Guys, I think we're in a kind of patience holding time frame right now. If the news is good but underwhelming on Friday, as bullish as we want to be, we could have a dip. Buy the rumor, sell the news. It doesn't mean it's over. Know that. Realize that this is a necessary, normal thing in all markets. You get an expectation. It could be. Do you guys realize stocks have earnings every quarter, and earnings will come in at the expectation and then sell off because it didn't do better than the expectation? So expectation is damaging in everything we do in our life, whether it's investing, whether it's relationships, whether it's your job, it doesn't matter. If you are expecting something, you're setting yourself up for failure. I'm not saying don't work hard at things, don't grow, but the point is, when you put expectation on something, then it's underwhelming. Give your all to everything that you can do. Be honest, be trustworthy, be transparent, be just diligent at what you're doing, and let the path unfold in front of you because you're giving it your all. Whether you're again, it doesn't matter what it is. Let's let the world unfold. Let's focus on giving as much as we can to this world. Let's focus on where I can add value. And then with that expectation, you get more than you could have ever expected. That's what this world's about. That's what this market is about. That's what crypto's about. It's not about making money. It's about changing our future. It's about changing our mindset. Trading, investing also brings all this to the forefront, and it makes you face it. And with that, everybody, I love you. I appreciate you. KJ, I'm gifting 1 membership on the way out. I love you all. I appreciate you all. I'm grateful for you all. Find something nice to do for somebody somewhere today, and don't tell anybody about it. Do it for the sake of giving. With that being said, I'm gonna shoot you off over to Blockchain Basement. Let's go over there. Everybody in there. When we go over there, you can just stay here. It will automatically redirect you if you're here on YouTube. When we get there, everybody type in BitLab is grateful for the Blockchain Basement. Let's all go share that exact message. BitLab is grateful for the Blockchain Basement. Let's go drop some love on them. Let's go drop some positivity. Let's do it. I love you all. I appreciate you all. That's all we got. Adios, muchachos. Thank you for coming. Adios.